Good morning. Today we are going to look at the review for our test in Unit 1. This is a type of review where number 1 on the review looks like number 1 on the test, number 2 on the review looks like number 2 on the test, just like that. So in number 1, we're going to identify the degrees of rotational symmetry for the following figures. Rotational symmetry means that you can rotate the shape and it looks exactly the same as the starting shape. So we're going to start with this triangle. And if I trace the triangle on tracing paper and I put my pencil in the middle, I can check to see if I rotate 90 degrees. Nope, not quite the same. 180 degrees, not quite the same. 270 degrees, and then we're all the way back at 360. So the only ones that are the same here is all the way around to the start at 360, because there are no turns here that we can get for the triangle. And then we have the rectangle. We can do the same thing with the rectangle. If we do a 90-degree rotation on the rectangle, it ends up here. A 180-degree rotation on the rectangle, you can see, is the same shape. So that's one turn that works there. 270 degrees, and then back to 360. So there is one possible turn, and then back to the beginning, that's 2. So that means that we have a 180-degree rotation and a 360-degree rotation in the rectangle. And then we do the same thing for the square. We can rotate it and see that if we, here for this one, I actually want to show you guys what side I'm looking at here. So let's say we start on that side and we want to rotate it 90 degrees. You can see that rotating it 90 degrees, it's still a square. Rotate it 90 more degrees, which is 180 degrees total. Then 90 more degrees takes us to 270 degrees. And then finally back to 360. So this square has a 90-degree rotation, plus another 90 is 180, plus another 90 is 270, and then back to the beginning at 360. Next, we want to take a look at the pentagon. So for this pentagon, we want to actually take a look at what side it is that we're watching rotate. So we can highlight it here just to help us keep track of how many rotations we have here. So if we rotate this once, we can line up the side. Twice, 3 times it lines up. 4 times it lines up. And then finally back at the top, 5 times it lines up. So for this one, it's 360 degrees that I can rotate 5 times. And if I put that into the calculator for what each of those 5 turns would be, it would just be 72. And then when you add 72 and add 72 each time, that's going to give you the next angle of rotation for this one. And finally, we have the hexagon at the end here. So I just need to get my paper lined up. I'll take a look at this one. That'll be the side that I rotate here. So we can rotate this one once, twice, 3 times. Sorry, my paper is a little stuck on the edge of my table here. 4 times, 5 times, and 6 times. So each of these has 6 rotations here, which is a 360 divided by 6, which is a 60-degree rotation. And if you add 60, that means it's also an 120-degree rotation. And if you add 60, it's also an 180-degree rotation. And if you keep going with your 60s, you'll find out what your other additions are there.